We're going to talk about Diomite, our instant clog eliminator. And when we say instant, we're talking within 3 to 5 minutes, any organic clog that you have. Now, I want to introduce you to Diomite. Diomite is a form of a sulfuric acid, but it's not like your grandfather's sulfuric acid that had that horrible smell that you had to clean a room. There's a couple things about Diomite that I first want to show you, and then I'm going to actually show you how well it works. The first one is University of Illinois has 27 plumbers on campus. 26 of them use Diomite. There's one guy, tried and true, continues to use his old thing. Everybody else on campus uses this product, and here's why. First thing I'd like you to do is feel how heavy this is. That's a quart bottle, unbelievably heavy. Now you compare that to a typical quart bottle, and you can see we are 83% heavier than water. What does that mean? Well, when you've got a clog and you have no idea how far down that clog is, you don't have to bail out that water ahead of time. You just pour 4 to 5 ounces of Diomite right into that clog, and any organic clog is going to be taken care of. And we're going to come back to organic in just a second. Here's the other thing that sets our product apart. You've worked with other forms of sulfuric acid, and that rotten egg smell is horrendous. Please don't put your nose right on it, but take a whiff of Diomite.
I don't smell anything.
There is no smell to it. Now, depending on what you're eating, if it's feces, if it's something else, it can create a little bit of a smell. But for the most part, our product has no smell to it at all. Let's talk about organic clogs. We're talking about feces. We're talking about paper towels. We're talking about too much toilet paper. We're talking about undershirts and underwear. My JOs love this product because guys will try and throw jumpsuits down in there. We're talking about feminine hygiene products. We're talking about diapers, adult or kid diapers. My retirement homes love this product as well. Anything that is organic. So let's take a little bit and let's generate a clog. Let's pretend that that's way too much. Somebody puts in too much toilet paper. Let's take a little bit of grease. And I'm just going to take a paper towel, fill it with a little bit of grease, because traps have grease in it all the time, whether it's grease from our skin and our hair or whether it's food and other type of material. Towels. Simulate a towel being shoved in there. And what you're going to notice is 4 to 5 ounces of Diomite. Now you do want to be careful. You don't want to get this on your skin, but we immediately start to liquefy and emulsify. Diomite gets in there, it eats it, but it also creates an exothermic heat. So what it's going to do is it's going to expand the pipe ever so slightly with that heat, and it's going to shoot right on down. Now, I want you to be careful here, but I want you to feel the bottom of that. Be careful. It gets very hot, and that's that heat that is created from it, okay? Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to simulate a flush. So I have a little Johnny scrub here. On the end of it, you're going to see a paper clip, you're going to see a rubber band, and then the handle itself. Now, I'm just going to simulate that clog here, and you're going to notice that this has almost become a liquid immediately. Now, that paper clip, that represents all the metal that's inside your pipes, whether it is a metal trap for a drinking fountain. Decatur Civic Center, one of my clients loves Diomite. First time I met him, he had a clog in a drinking fountain. It was a Monday morning, and it was at least 14 feet in. How does he know that? Because his 12-foot snake wouldn't clear it. I come in, I pour Diomite down in there, and we get it unclogged. Now, he's fairly convinced that they were coffee grounds that had been jammed in there over the weekend, and he couldn't unclog it. We poured Diomite, and in less than 5 minutes, that drinking fountain had completely opened up. And the metal trap that was on top of the drinking fountain, completely safe. Metal pipes, completely safe. Now, the rubber band, that's going to represent the rubber gasket inside the toilet, completely safe. The PVC pipe is represented by the Johnny Scrub plastic handle, completely safe. The rubber band, paper clip, handle, all safe. Glass, not that there's a lot of glass in plumbing, completely safe. concrete. If it's wet concrete, you have no problems with it. If you have dry concrete, diamite could bubble up a little bit. So we tell people when you have a floor drain, either just be very safe when pouring it down just into the drain, or wet the concrete around it first. But otherwise you have no problems. Now you'll notice that everything has been emulsified. There's no carpet in here. There's no paper towels in here. It's all gone, and that heat is almost too hot to even be able to touch. Now, here's what I want to show you. With just rinsing off, very carefully, rinsing off my paper clip, my rubber band, you're going to notice that they are all completely intact and they are all safe. Paperclip, unharmed. Rubber band, unharmed. Plastic, unharmed. That's the power of diamite. The way we package it up is 4 dozen as a case, 2 dozen as a half case. Which is a better application for you?
I'll take a case.
Great.
Keith, during the time I've been in this industry, I've worked with a lot of professionals like yourself, and I know one of the biggest problems that you battle is fluids of all types. You know, you deal primarily with things like vomit, blood, and urine. And whenever you have a spill, especially if, let's say, someone throws up, I know you deal with that on a regular basis. All right, the moment someone throws up, you have 3 problems that you have to face. Problem number 1 is, of course, the mess, because it goes everywhere. Problem number 2 is the foul odor, which often invokes what I like to call the sympathy puke. And lastly is the chance of catching germs and diseases. And the big problem is you send one of your guys in to clean that up, and the next thing you know, he's calling in sick. You're short-staffed and you're running like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to get everything done because you've got 1 or 2 guys that are out. At Chemco, we've come up with a fantastic solution to that problem called ChemSorb CL.
Okay.
Now, ChemSorb CL is great. What I'm going to do here, Keith, is this could be any type of fluid. This could be blood, urine, it could be vomit. And of course, if I were to pour this on the table, it would go everywhere. What I'm going to do is show you how well ChemSorb takes care of those problems. I'm just going to take a little bit of ChemSorb. And look at that. What I've done is completely gelled that vomit, urine, or blood up. Now, on top of that, not only have I cleaned up the mess, but I've completely knocked down and reduced the odor and put it in a gel form that you can sweep up with a regular broom. You can pull it up with a shop vac. Now, if you've got carpet, the great thing about this product is it'll actually pull the moisture out of the fibers and pull it to the top of the surface. But the best thing about this product is all of those germs and viruses that you run the risk of catching and passing on to everybody will be killed. So it takes care of all 3 problems, the mess, the odor, and the germs, making a safe, easy cleanup for you and your guys. How does that look to you?
It looks wonderful.
Keith, the way we package this comes packaged in cases of 8. And that little bottle right there will do up to 5 gallons of fluid. The best thing about this product is storage-wise, because it's a powder. If you put it out in a shed with no air conditioning, it won't melt or liquefy. In the extreme cold, it won't freeze, dry, crack, or break. It'll stay pliable no matter what condition you have. So as I said before, we package it in cases of 8. How many cases do you think you need? Do you think you need 4 cases, or would 2 be easier for you?
2 will be quite sufficient.
Great. Let me get my order pad. Keith, had a chance to walk around the building, and one thing that I can see, I know you deal with this problem on a regular basis, is you've got tons and tons of ceiling tiles everywhere. And the big problem with those ceiling tiles is they get those spots and those stains that come from the condensation of the pipes up above. And the big problem with switching those tiles out is it's not just the expense, and let's face it, the cost of ceiling tiles goes up every week, it seems like. But the biggest expense is the time that you have to take to change those tiles out. Because the first thing you have to do is you have to stop what you're doing. You have to go down to the store and you have to buy the tiles, and then you have to come back. That blows at least an hour to 2 hours of your day right then and there. Then you've got to stop what you're doing. You've got to get the ladder out. You've got to get up in there. And a lot of times there's all kinds of insulation or wirings or piping or duct work that you have to deal with and move around. You've got to get it down. A lot of times those tiles will just break apart and come down on you. Then you've got to get a new tile. Now, if you notice those tiles over there on the ceiling, they're not full size, which means anytime you deal with a special type of tile like that, you've got to take the time to cut it, to get it fit just right, to get it up and in there. And then when you're finally done with all of that, then you have to do all of the cleanup work after. So not only does it waste a lot of your money, but it blows a lot of your time. And that's the biggest part of where your budget of what your budget works off of, is the time factor between you and your guys. Wouldn't you agree? Well, at Chemco, we've come up with a great solution for that problem called Renew.
Okay.
Now, Renew is a great ceiling tile restoration product. This is basically clay in a can. It's basically the same substance that goes into your ceiling tile. Now, a lot of times people will try and do things like spray paint, but as you know as well as I do, that the fire marshal and both the city, county, and federal government frown on using any kind of spray paint on those ceiling tiles because they're highly flammable. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Renew and show you how well it works. I'm just going to spray a little into my hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start to rub. Now look how the Renew is drying. The great thing about Renew, as I said, this is a clay, and once it sets up as a clay, it allows you to maintain your acoustical rating in your ceiling tile. It also allows you to maintain your fire rating. And because it dries so quickly, you don't have to worry about putting tarp down or anything. You know, if you use a spray paint and it comes down onto the carpet or the floor, you're going to have a heck of a time scrubbing to take that back up. But since this dries so quick, you don't have to put anything down. You can just sweep it up with a broom or pull it up with a shop vac.
Oh, okay.
And all you have to do, instead of taking the time to cut and do everything, just get right up there. It'll blend in with the existing tile and won't hurt anything, and it'll look like it's brand new. It's going to allow you not only to save a lot of money because you're not spending the money on those ceiling tiles, but you're also saving a lot of time. And the beautiful thing about this product is it'll actually help to keep the stains from coming back, unless of course you've got a major leak in your ceiling, and then nothing's going to help that.
Right.
But for the little condensation, it'll actually keep those stains from coming back once it's been put in place. What do you think of a product like that?
This is a great product.
Well, let me tell you how we package it. We normally package that product 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half a case. What'll be better for you, a case or a half case?
Half case.
Great. Let me get my order pad and we'll get you started.
Okay.
Keith, one of the big things that I know that you have to deal with on a regular basis is taking care of your hands. And in the type of work that you do, you're constantly washing your hands all the time. The big problem with that is when you wash your hands that often, your skin has a tendency to dry out really bad. And guys have shown me hands that have cracked and broken open. And I know that's a major issue, especially in the wintertime when you guys are doing all your maintenance work inside, and that constant washing just makes things, your hands are already dry to begin with, then the constant washing of your hands makes it worse. The reason for that is most soaps on the market are solvent-based, and solvents pull moisture right out of your skin. So you start with dry hands, you wash them with a solvent-based soap, and it just aggravates the problem and makes it much worse. And then every winter I see the same thing. Guys have their soap that they use, and right next to it they've got a bottle of lotion to try and put moisturants back into their skin, and of course it never works. Well, at Chemco we've got a fantastic solution that guys just love called Doc's Magic Hand Soap. Now what makes this product so great, Keith, is it's not solvent-based. It's water-based, all natural. go ahead and rub that in. Now, you feel that pumice?
Yeah.
That pumice is walnut shells. Those walnut shells have been finely ground 3 times. It's removed all of the oil, so if you've got a guy that's normally allergic to walnuts, he's not going to have to worry about it because all of the oils have been removed. That grit you see is so fine, it gets right into all of the pores and the crevices of your skin to pull the dirt out. But the great thing is, because it's not solvent-based, it won't pull out any of the moisturants. The other neat thing about Doc's Magic Hand Soap is there are 7 different skin softening and moisturizers in there, which guys don't like to talk about until they're home at night nursing cracked hands. Now, this product is best used with water, so let's go to the sink and let's go rinse off. What you would next do is take your customer, walk with them to the nearest water source, and go ahead and rinse your hands. Once you guys have done rinsing your hands, look at your customer and say, doesn't that feel great?
Wonderful.
You bet. Don't your hands feel nice?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. The moisturants are still in your hands, and so no matter how many times you wash, even in the middle of winter, you're never going to dry out or crack your hands. Your guys are going to be better, they're going to perform better, and everyone's going to be happier.
Right.
Now, Keith, what do you think of that?
I think that's a nice product.
All right, well, let me tell you how we package this product. We package this product 2 ways. We package it in the squeezy bottles, which is great for guys that have to be on the go out in the field. We also package it in the gallons. What way is going to work better for your guys, the squeezy bottles or the gallons?
Probably the gallons.
Okay. Keith, we've got a great special going on right now. I know most companies, when they come to you, they want you to buy 8 or 12 gallons of a product at one time. But we've got a fantastic promotion going on. For every 2 gallons that you buy, you get a free wall dispenser at no cost. And that wall dispenser has a lifetime warranty. So if one of your summer help gets mad one day and smashes it, we come out and replace it at no cost.
Oh, okay.
How many wall dispensers do you think you're going to need? Are you going to need 2, or do you think you might need 4?
Well, I'll actually probably need 3, so I'll take 4.
Okay, you want 4 dispensers?
Yes.
I'll get you set up.
One of the biggest issues that water, wastewater treatment plants, mechanics, the biggest issue they have are their hands. They get dirty. If you're talking sewage or sewer treatment plants, you're sticking your hand in dirty, filthy water all day long. What has the potential to happen is that bacteria can get into the hands, can get into the pores, gets people sick. Grease and dirt and grime stain hands. We've come up with a solution for that called barrier cream. Now, barrier cream is a protector for the hands. What it does is it fills in the pores in your hands or on your skin anywhere, and it prevents dirty bacteria. It prevents grease and oil and dirt and grimes from getting into the bloodstream or just staining your hands. So what I'd like to do, Steve, is I'd like to pour just a very little bit into your hand, and you're going to notice, like most of our products, a little goes a long way. What I'd like you to do is just rub it into your hands thoroughly. Make sure you get your pores. Looks like I gave you a little bit too much there. Make sure you get it into the pores. And here's what's going to happen. It takes about 30 to 45 seconds to rub into the hands, into the pores, onto the skin. Our hands are going to be slightly sticky for about 3 to 5 minutes. As it's drying and evaporating onto the hands itself, it forms a barrier. What's going to happen is as soon as our hands dry, and it happens very quickly, you go about your day, and anything that sticks onto your hand from now on is going to stick to the surface. It's not getting into the pores. It's not getting into cuts or scratches or bruises that you might have. You'll notice I've got a cut on the hand, and it's now completely protected. I don't have to worry about anything getting in here. Now, after it dries, then you go out and do your day. One of my clients, Tuscola Highway Commissioner, every morning he goes in, turns on his computer, immediately walks into the bathroom, puts barrier cream on his hands, walks back to his computer, starts doing his daily stuff, and by the time he's done with his couple of reports in the morning, his hands are completely dry, no stickiness to them at all, no tackiness to them, and he knows that his hands are protected. You'll notice that we've got a nice little smell to it. It's not offensive or an obnoxious smell. The other thing is that we have lanolin. And the fact that we have lanolin in here is going to keep your hands soft. It's going to prevent them from drying out and cracking, which is also a big issue that people have. Now, how to take it off. One of the unique things about this product, now that it's on your hand, is the only way to get it off is a special product that I have in my bag. No, I'm teasing Steve. All it takes is soap and water. With just a little bit of soap and water, it takes the barrier cream right off. However, let's say you get some grease or some oil on your hand. All you have to do is grab yourself a little bit of towel and you can wipe it right off your hand. But the barrier cream stays on. If you go and rinse your hands with just water, you're going to take 80% of the gunk and grime off your hands, but the barrier cream stays on. It's just soap and water that takes it off. Barrier cream is the solution for people who work with their hands all day long, preventing staining, preventing bacteria from getting into the bloodstream. The way we package it up is 4 dozen is a case, 2 dozen is a half case. What's better for you?
I'll take a case.
Great.
Keith, I've been doing this for a while now, and one of the things that I've found is every winter you guys go through the same problem all the time, and that's keeping your walkways free of ice and snow. The safety factor alone isn't the only issue that you have to deal with, though. A lot of the stuff that's out there on the market that you put down causes a variety of problems for you. First off, a lot of stuff out on the market is real harsh on the concrete. So over a short period of time, it pits your concrete and literally causes it to start to shatter and break apart. Then on top of that, you have that white residue that they're constantly tracking in. And if you don't get it fast enough, it'll eat through the wax on your floor, it'll eat through your carpet, it'll literally ruin things and just create an incredible amount of work for you to have to do. Keeping up with that's a major issue. And then on top of that, another problem that you've got is if your guy over sprinkles or oversprays, that stuff gets into the soil and it kills all the shrubbery, the grass, and then you're spending all spring reseeding and refertilizing. It just creates a large amount of work for you. The great news is at Chemco, we've come up with a fantastic solution to that problem called Chemthaw. Now what I'm going to do, what you want to do at this point is you want to go and fill a small sandwich bag full of water. Come back to the customer and let them know, Keith, I want to show you how Chemthaw works. If you'll open that top for me. I'm going to take a little bit and I'm just going to pour it right down in. Now the problem with most ice melting compounds, the reason why they track in so badly and they're so rough, is they work off of friction, which means you can put it down on the ice and snow, but it's actually not going to heat up until either someone walks or drives something over the top of that ice melting compound. The reason why it cracks your concrete is because that friction, that constant pressure pushes it down into the pores of the concrete, and then as it heats up, it expands and causes that concrete to break apart. Now, the great thing about Chemthaw is Chemthaw doesn't work off of friction, it works off of moisture. So I want you to go ahead, now that I've put a little in, I want you to feel that.
It's kind of warm.
Yeah, you see how that heats up?
Yeah.
And that's without any friction at all. That's just from the moisture itself. So the minute you put this down, and a lot of times what happens is you get a snow that comes through real fast. You don't have time to put anything down. If you have to put this down on top of it, the minute it hits that moisture, Chemthaw is going to start working. Now, another problem with a lot of ice melting compounds is they only work to about 15 below zero. Okay? Some of them don't even do that well. They only go to maybe 5 or 10 below. Some only work to 30 degrees, which is basically freezing. Well, here in Missouri, it gets a lot colder than that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The great thing about Chemthaw, which we've nicknamed, by the way, no crack, no track, is it'll work up to 40 below zero, which, if it gets that cold, I'm moving a lot further south. But not only that, because it doesn't work off of friction, it won't crack or hurt your concrete at all. One of the biggest challenges I had a funeral home that had just put down fresh new concrete 6 months ago. And he asked me, Steve, is this going to work? And I said, I honestly don't know. I've never tried it with concrete that's that fresh. But they put it down and it worked great all winter long, and they've been buying it from me ever since. The other beautiful thing is, I want you to notice as I'm running this through, over time, this product is going to dissolve. When it dissolves, this water is going to turn completely clear. So what that means is no tracking in. You're not going to have to worry about constantly going behind people and cleaning up after them. Again, still feel how hot, warm that is. And now, and now that it's almost dissolved, you notice that it's actually starting to clear up. Then the other best thing about this is this has calcium in it, which means it's not going to kill your grass or hurt your shrubbery. It's actually going to help them to grow better in the springtime. See how clear it's starting to get? Mm-hmm. So the great thing about it, it's going to be easier for you. You can even put it out as a pre-treat. Once that moisture starts hitting, it's going to start heating up and melting it right away. You're not going to track it into your facility, you're not going to hurt your concrete, and you're going to save the expense of having to constantly refertilize or reseed the next spring. How does that look to you?
It looks good.
Great. Now, Keith, we package this a number of different ways. We package it in 25-pound bags, 50-pound bags, or 100-pound drums. What works better for you?
I think I'll take a 100-pound drum.
All right. One of the things I've learned from working with guys like yourself for as many years as I've had is one of the biggest issues you've got to deal with is cleaning and maintaining your facility. And a warehouse like this, you've got a lot of different issues that you've got to keep clean. You've got oils, you've got greases, you've got all kinds of dirts and resins and paints and things that get all over everything. With your mowers that you take them out, you've got all the grass sap and stuff that comes in, and all of that builds up over time, and it's real hard to get off. Now, I know there's a lot of products out there on the market that you may use, but the big problem is a lot of them will take care of one or two things, but they don't take care of a variety. And a lot of times, while they may do an okay job, you've got to get down and you've got to really put some elbow grease in to clean a lot of these products. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, one thing that most of your guys aren't going to do, if they have to put a lot of effort in, they're going to have a tendency to let it go. Am I right?
True. True.
Here at Command, we've come up with a fantastic solution for that called Command. This is a heavy-duty foaming alkaline degreaser, and the best thing of all, it's USDA authorized. So I know from time to time you work with different food-type products,
right,
and you've got to have that USDA authorization. This product has it. This product is great for, I don't care whether it's grease, oil, you name it, this is a great multi-purpose cleaner. And I noticed right here you've got this forklift right here that has all of this dirt and oil on it.
Right.
And that can be a real problem to get clean, am I right?
Very true.
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Command and I'm just going to spray it on here. Now right away I want you to look and notice. You see all that, see how it's actually pulling the dirt out off the metal right now as we speak. You can see that stuff. Now look at how easy. All I do is I take this. You see how all that just comes right off? And I'm hardly pushing it all.
Huh.
Few spots here, we get just a little bit more on there, let it sit for a minute or two, and all of that stuff will come right off. And now look over here, I can do the same thing right over here. Have you ever had anything that cleans that easy?
Looks pretty easy to me.
You betcha. That almost looks like new, doesn't it?
Just about.
Absolutely. No, hardly any work. And look at all of the grease that I put and oil that I pulled off.
That's good.
With just a simple wipe. Now I'll tell you the easiest way, and your guys will love you for this, put this on, let it soak for a minute, get a power washer, it'll pull that off without even having to wipe. The great thing about this, Dennis, is you can use it for other things as well. I noticed you got a grill outside. You sometimes barbecue for the guys.
Yeah.
You got to degrease that grill. This is the product for it, and it's food safe.
Oh, that's great.
So you can degrease the grills and fryers and everything that you've got outside. When you want to do the kitchen inside or when you want to do the floors, take 3 or 4 ounces, put it in a mop bucket of water. You can degrease all your floors that way as well.
Really?
Absolutely. Multi-purpose.
They won't slip and slide around.
Won't slip and slide. Easy on paint, easy on everything else, but really gets the job done. How does that look to you?
Looks fantastic. I like it.
Awesome. Dennis, the way we package this, we package it 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half case. What works better for you, a case or a half case? Fantastic. All right. Keith, one of the things that I've learned from working with professionals like yourself is one of the big issues that you face all the time is flu and sickness. You're dealing with a school, and parents these days don't want to call into their boss and say, hey, my kid's sick, I've got to stay home from work. So they go ahead, and if there's any chance that they might be okay, they go ahead and send their kids to school. The next thing you know, you've got whole classrooms, or a great number of the classroom going out sick. You've got teachers getting sick. And once that happens, that adds to your workload. Now, in addition to everything else that you and your staff are trying to do, you've got to go into that room and try and take care of all of those germs and viruses. And the problem is there's just so many areas to get, it's impossible to get everything. Isn't that right? Mm-hmm. Well, at Chemco, we've come up with a great solution to that problem. That solution is called Total Release. Now, what makes this product different, unlike the aerosols or liquid that you're spraying around, this is a disinfecting bomb. So what you do is you take this and you place it in the middle of the room on this table, say for example. You press the tab all the way down until it locks in place. It works very similar to a bug bomb. You know how those work. Once that starts misting, you then put it down and walk out of the room. It'll disinfect everything in the air, everything on the ceiling, the walls. It'll get into all of the cracks and crevices that there's just no way you can get into. It'll even get into the fibers of the carpet and disinfect all of that. And I want you to look at all of the things that it kills. You'll see that this is labeled to kill things like MRSA, staph, strep, tuberculosis, HIV, all of the HN strands, Asiatic flu, swine flu. It's even a mold and mildew killer, so it's great for locker rooms and for showers, and weight rooms, which are some of the worst areas and the areas where diseases pop up most commonly. On top of being a disinfectant, it's also a deodorizer at the same time. So I'm going to take a little and just, I want you to go ahead and take a smell. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Now this little can will do up to 10,000 cubic feet, which is about 780 square feet. So this little can will do a big classroom. And the great little secret behind this product also, if you don't want to use the whole can, as long as you don't punch the tab all the way down, you can use it for a spot treat as well.
Oh, okay.
So with this product, what's going to happen, it's going to allow you guys to go ahead and do all the things that you need to and disinfect that room without having to take any extra time out of your day. Basically, last thing you do at night before you leave, set that can off, walk out. When you come in early morning next day, just pick up the empty can and throw it away. It's the fastest, cheapest way to completely disinfect a room and not kill your work schedule.
Okay.
How does that look to you?
Looks good. Looks good.
Let me tell you how we package it. We normally package this 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half a case. What'll be easier for you, a case or a half case?
At this time, a half case would be fine.
Great, I'll get my order pad and we'll set you up.
All right.
Keith, I work with a lot of guys that oversee wastewater treatment plants and sewer lines, and I know from dealing with those guys that one of the biggest problems that you run into is having to deal with your lift stations. The big problem that you've got is you've got restaurants and homes that are constantly frying and cooking grease and sending that and other waste materials down into your lift stations to run them up over the hill. And the problem is all of that grease and stuff just gets in there, coagulates and backs up, and it causes a horrible stink, but even more important, it can completely back up your lines and your sewer system. And of course, once that happens, you're up at midnight going to take care of an issue that you wish you didn't have to take care of. At Chemco, one of the big problems, there's a lot of stuff out there on the market that is supposed to take care of that problem, but the biggest complaint that I hear from guys is it doesn't stay in the lift station long enough to actually take care of the problem. The reason for it is most of those products are very thin, and so they work on the surface of the water or below. And with the way your lift stations run, it runs through the system way too fast. Well, at Chemco, we've got a great solution for that. It's a product that we make ourselves called Lift Clean. And I've got this bottle right here to show you exactly how Lift Clean works. Now, this is basically set up the same way your lift station is. You've got the station itself, and in it you've got the water that rises up and down. What the Lift Clean does is, as you can see, it actually floats on the top of the water. So because it floats on the top of the water, it's not running through the system as fast. That means it stays in place. Now watch when I do this. Now your lift station will never turn upside down like this.
You didn't turn it down.
Notice how it all floats right back to the top. Because it stays on the top of the water, on the surface, it won't run through your system. And as a degreaser, let me show you how well that works. I'm just going to take a little bit right here. Now, one of the things that you have to deal with in your lift stations is grease balls. And that's basically what this packing peanut is. It's just a compress, it's basically a grease ball. And you get a whole bunch of those in your lift station, you've got a problem. Now watch this. I'm going to take this grease, and that, for that little cap, that's a lot of grease, isn't it? Look how it just goes through and eats that right up. Now another thing that you have in your city is you've got all kinds of restaurants. And they're cooking and frying things. I know you've got at least several Kentucky Fried Chickens, you've got Taco Bells, you've got McDonald's. All of those places fry foods. And this is very similar to the grease that you deal with on that they run through your system. Notice how that Lift Clean is just, look at that. See what it does to that grease? It completely takes care of it and eliminates all of that grease. So as you put this in, not only is it going to degrease, but it's going to stay in your system much longer. On top of that, it's a deodorizer, and it also removes all of the buildup of gases that run in the lift station. We've got a gentleman in Maryville, Illinois, that when he started using this product, the first thing that came out of his mouth is he went to that bad lift station that always gave him problems, and it smelled like a cherry. Check out that cherry scent. Isn't that nice? Very good. Keith, how does that product look to you?
Looks good.
Very good. Well, Keith, this is a product that we manufacture, and we package it in bulk. Now, normally, we package it in a 55-gallon drum or a 35-gallon half drum, or if you'd like, I can get you set up with a little 35 or 20-gallon pony drum. What works best for you?
Let me first try one of those little pony drums.
You bet.
An issue that people have all over. It doesn't matter if you are in grounds, if you're in maintenance. When you guys open up something and there is a wasp nest. It could be bees, it could be hornets, any type of flying bee. We have a solution for that called Wasp Away. Now, there are a lot of wasp products out there. You can go to the local hardware store and get one. Our product stands out for several reasons. First and foremost, we have a dielectric strength of over 47,000 volts. What that means is that most of the time a wasp nest is around some kind of an electrical current. They like the buzzing, they like the vibration, the energy that it creates. When you're there and you spray it, an electrical charge could come back. Because we have a dielectric strength of over 47,000, you don't have to worry about that electrical strength coming back through the stream into the bottle and into you and me. But that's not our greatest feature. One of the best features about us is our long spray. Most of your wasp killers have 10, maybe 15 feet at best. Ours is 20 to 22 feet. So you can go a long way, and that means you or your guys don't have to be all that close to the wasp nest. One of the other things that sets wasp away apart is the fact that we have two chemicals in there. The first one stuns the bee, the second one kills it. Why is that important? Ameren Electric out of Decatur. They had a guy this past February who sprayed a bee, and they were using a product, I won't mention its name. It took about 30 seconds for the bee to die. In that 30 seconds, the person who had sprayed it, the bee came back and stung him in the back of the neck 3 times. Because one of our chemicals stuns the bee first, you and your guys are completely safe and don't have to worry about that angry bee coming at them. Then the second chemical kills it almost instantaneously. So they drop and they're dead. You hit the nest, they drop and they're dead. One other thing that sets wasp away apart is our residual. Most other products on the market have a 3, maybe a 7-day residual. Wasp Away has a 30-day residual. So mom and dad bee are out at the grocery store getting honey, and they come back 8, 10, 15 days later. Our poison, our chemical is still in the nest. They eat it, they die, and that residual effect means that you're using less. It's another one of our products where a little bit goes a long way. Are there any questions about Wasp Away?
No.
The way we package it up is 4 dozen as a case, 2 dozen as a half case. What's better for you?
I'll take a case.
Great. Everybody has bug problems. One of the reasons is this past winter was so mild that we didn't get that hard freeze. So weeds and bugs are the 2 main issues that people are facing. Well, we've come up with a solution that takes care of the creepy crawlies along the ground and the flying insects, and that's called Bug Out. Now, Bug Out stands out from what you can buy at the hardware store for many reasons. One of which is we have a dielectric strength. It's not something that people think about a lot, but if you were to spray near an electrical outlet, you don't have to worry about an electrical charge coming back through the stream into the can and into you or your people. So it's another safety issue that we have. One of the other things, as I mentioned earlier, is we take care of the creepy crawlies around the ground and the flying insects. Well, we do that because of our unique can. Now, a lot of people tell me, "Well, Bart, I've got a monthly service that comes out." Well, let me ask you, Steve, if you have a monthly service, is it really working? Why do they have to come out every month? Our residual is up to 90 days. You spray it once, it drives them, and it kills them. And it's just as important in driving them away so that they don't come back in. Right? One of the things that sets us apart is our unique can itself. Now, we talk about the flying insects, and if you were to spray, you get a typical mist. Mm-hmm. However, what's very unique is when you press the nozzle forward, you get a hard stream. And when you do that hard stream, you're able to get near the base of all your walls. What ends up happening is that chemical gets into the wall, and it drives the ants and the spiders and everything. It drives them out.
What kind of bugs will that take care of?
This is going to kill all kinds. I'm just going to read some of these to you. Highly effective against ants, carpenter ants as well, bees, beetles, carpet beetles, flower, grain, and ground beetles, centipedes, clover mites, cockroaches, crickets, including mole crickets, earwigs, firebrats, fleas, millipedes, moths, pillbugs, scorpions, silverfish, sow bugs, spiders, ticks, wasps, and other pests.
That's very broad.
Oh, it's very broad. It kills a lot of things. If you have animals around the house, the one when I mentioned fleas is a big deal.
So I can use this as a wasp spray as well.
You absolutely can use it to kill wasps, safe around household pets, but you cannot spray it on household pets, but safe around children and pets as well.
So that would take the place of about 3 different products that I'm buying right now.
That's exactly right. So rather than going to the hardware store, getting one for wasps, one for bees, one for spiders, and one for ants, you've got an all-in-one product. Cute little story. A couple of weeks ago, my wife and I are sitting out on our deck, and there were some flying insects above a bush just off to the side. So I get bug out, and I spray, get the mist, kill all the bugs, all the flying insects. I had the can out. I thought, you know what? I might as well hit around the base of the house where the deck is. So I spray. Next morning, I'm always the first one up. I come downstairs. There's 150 ants sitting on our counter. Immediately, I knew what I had done. The mistake I had made was I sprayed from the outside, and because our chemical forces the bugs away, I forced them into the house. So I had to go, grab my can, spray the counter, killed all the ants there, went underneath the sink, sprayed there, and I haven't seen an ant anywhere near the kitchen since. So when we say that we drive the bugs away, that's why you want to spray it from the inside going out, because it pushes them out. And that's that residual of 90 days.
All right.
So the way we package this up is 4 dozen as a case, 2 dozen as a half case. What's better for you?
I'll take a case.
Great.
Matt, I know one of the big problems that you've got to deal with on a regular basis is vandalism. And the problem is you never know where vandalism is going to take place. These kids can be very creative in some of the places they put it. Now, the problem with most products on the market is, one, a lot of them don't treat the types of things. You know, they'll take off the easy stuff, the crayon and you know, and the ink pen. That's easy, but you have to deal with things like permanent marker or paint or berries or any number of other creative items that these kids just stuff from the candy, from gum, that they're going to get all over the walls and the floors and other things. The other problem is the stuff that you normally would use to take that harder stuff off is so harsh that it'll oftentimes not only, you know, pull the mark off, but the very paint off the wall or the surface you're trying to get rid of.
Sure.
The other problem that you face is a lot of the products are very thin, so you spray them and they just run right down the wall, and it doesn't give them enough time to really attack the problem. Well, here at Chemco, we've come up with a great solution called Vandalex GL. The GL stands for gel. So unlike most products, this product will actually cling to the walls or the vertical surfaces that you spray on, which gives it more time to work effectively. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how well this product actually works. What I've got here is a phone book, and you know, there's all kind of paint and marker in this book, and if you were to take some water and stuff, you wouldn't be able to get that off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Vandalex and just spray a little bit on.
Oh, wow.
Look at how it just takes all of that.
And it's safe to the touch.
It's safe to the touch.
That's great.
See, I'm removing all of that hard to remove ink. While not hurting the surface of the paper.
That's impressive.
So the great thing about this product is it'll remove the hard stuff that you need to get rid of, but it's going to be safe for your leather interiors and other things. It won't discolor it, it won't fade it, it won't cause it to, you know, to become marked up and look uglier than when the graffiti was on it in the first place.
Absolutely.
But, and then it's also going to be very effective for whatever you're wanting to use it for.
Right.
What do you think of something like that?
I can certainly see a use for this, and it always, it's nice to have it on the shelf when vandalism does occur, that I know I have a product on the shelf that I can use, not a delay in getting it off the wall or wherever it may be. So, yeah, that's great.
Oh, great. Let me tell you how we package this product. This normally comes packaged 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half case. What's going to work better for you, a case or a half case?
Probably 2 dozen or a half case would be appropriate.
Great. Let me get my order pad and we'll get you started.
Thank you.
Matt, one of the big problems I know you have to deal with on a regular basis is trying to keep the carpet smelling nice and fresh. And you're fighting all kinds of elements out there. You've got guys that are tracking in tar, asphalt, mud, debris, all kinds of stuff into the carpet. And that's on the clear days. And then when it's raining, it gets real wet and guys are tromping in with muddy, wet feet, walking all over the carpet, and the carpet starts to get those musty, that musty, damp smell all over the place. And then on top of that, you've got areas where guys are allowed to smoke, and you get that smoke smell that permeates throughout the carpet. And it's something that's very hard to get rid of and take care of. And so a lot of your time is just trying to keep those carpets smelling nice and fresh, because let's face it, the boss doesn't like walking in and smelling something bad. Am I right?
You are, absolutely.
Well, here at Chemco, we've come up with a great solution to that problem called Freshen Up.
Okay.
And what I've got here is I've got a sample of carpet, and this probably reminds you of some of the carpets.
Looks familiar.
Yeah, some of the carpets that you've got at your place. Well, the great thing about this product is you just take it and spray it right on the carpet. Now, what this product does is it completely neutralizes all of those odors. Not only the tars, the asphalts, the grease, the nicotine, the mud, the fungus, the mold, all of the stuff that gets into the carpet. And it'll even take care of, you know, if you've got pets that are allowed to walk through, it'll even take care of dog and cat odors as well.
Sure.
Now, the beautiful thing about this is it's vacuum free. So all you do is you spray it down and you walk away and you go about your business and you get stuff done. So instead of having to take the time to spray it and then go and wait a while, then grab the vacuum cleaner, come back and vacuum it all up, that's very time consuming.
Sure.
You just spray it, walk away and let it go and get your work done.
Sure.
The boss is happy, everyone's happy, because isn't that a nice smell?
No, it is a pleasant odor. How often would you apply something like this, Steve?
Well, basically, you're just going to apply this product a couple of times a week, or when you get bad odors that permeate.
Okay.
It's going to last a very long time,
Okay.
and it's going to greatly reduce your workload.
Sure.
How does that look to you?
It looks good.
Well, let me tell you how we package it. We package it 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half a case. What's going to work better for you, a case or a half case?
We'd probably start with just a half case, maybe 2 dozen.
That'll be great. Let me get my order pad, and we'll get you started.
Great.
Keith, one of the biggest problems that you have to deal with is constantly deodorizing and reducing the amount of smells that permeate throughout the building. And the big problem is, usually what I see is when I come into facilities like this, I see air fresheners above every doorway. Air fresheners are a huge expense because, first of all, you pay all of this money for the little box that contains it. And then you pay money for the batteries that have to go in place. And that's before you've even gotten to the little blocks or the cans that shoot the aerosol or shoot the air freshener throughout the building. That's a lot of money that you're throwing away on a regular basis. The other problem that you have, and I had a customer go through this not too long ago, where the company she'd used for 20 years went out of business. The company that bought them out came in, and the first thing the new salesman said was, "We're discontinuing those air fresheners. You're going to have to scrap all of them and buy new ones." That's a big, huge expense when all you're really trying to do is just take care of the odor. At Chemco, we've come up with a great solution called Odorex. This is basically an air freshener in a can. Now, the neat thing about Odorex is it's not a block and it's not an aerosol, it's an actual gel. And so I'm just going to spray a little bit in here, and I want you to take a look at that. See how that gel clings to the side? What that means is it's going to cling to whatever surface you spray it in. And it's got a fantastic scent.
Yeah, smell it.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Now what happens is after about 5 minutes, this gel is going to turn completely clear. And after about 20 minutes, it's going to completely dissipate. But that nice fragrance you smell is going to stay for a very long time. And the neat thing about this, instead of paying all that money for those air fresheners, you can apply this anywhere. Like the doorways that I walked under to come into this room has that ledge on top. Just get right up there and spray it on top. As people walk in and out of that room, the air that they bring is going to continue to carry that nice mulberry fragrance throughout the room.
Oh.
Some other neat things that customers of mine are using it for is they're putting it in the air ducts where their central air is coming out, and as that central air pushes that air through, it brings that nice fragrance throughout the building. They're also putting it at the bottom of their trash cans. There's some real bad foul odors that build up there. And as you pull the bag out and in, it's going to bring that nice fragrance with it and greatly reduce that. It's also great for under the bottom of urinals, because you're constantly trying to keep those odors down. And this, by putting it at the bottom, there's no way for people to get to it to dull that smell. And so it's going to continue to permeate throughout. At my own house personally, we've got a circulating fan in the middle of the room. I put a little bit on the top of each blade, run the fan, and it just shoots that fragrance throughout the entire house. So the great thing about this product, you can deodorize without having to deal with all of the expense and headaches and hassles of maintaining all of those air fresheners. How does that look to you?
Looks pretty good.
Well, Keith, let me tell you how we package it. We package this product 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half case. What'll be better for you, a case or a half case?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you give me a week, I'll take a case.
A week, okay. What do you need a week for, buddy?
Well, I just bought some stuff and I just have to get my finances back up.
Not a problem. I tell you what I can do. Since this is a product that I know you want to get in and get started right away, I'm going to go ahead and get it written up, but we'll hold the bill for 2 weeks, and that'll give you plenty of time to get it going.
Okay.
Great. Dennis, one of the things that I know you have to deal with on a regular basis is lubricating moving parts and joints. And you've got rollers, you've got bearings, you've got latches, you've got drawers, handles, all kinds of things that have to be lubricated and maintained on a regular basis.
Right.
The problem with a lot of lubricants on the market is they go on wet and they stay wet. And so in the environment that you're in, you've got a lot of wind and dust and things that come through, and they grab a hold of that wet lubricant and stick to it. And after a short period of time, it actually ends up becoming worse than if you hadn't lubricated the moving part to begin with. At Chemco, we've come up with a great solution to that problem called Silly Spray. Silly Spray is a dry lubricant that goes on dry but lubricates exceptionally well. I'm going to give you a little demonstration to show you how well that works. What I want you to do is I want you to take these 2 cards. I want you to press real hard and rub them together. You feel that friction?
Right.
That's, anytime you've got your drawers or your sliding windows for the buses or your moving parts and joints, when there's no lubrication, that's the type of friction that they run against, and that's what causes them to wear down and go bad quicker than they should. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Silly Spray and I'm going to apply it to each card. I'm just going to give it a short moment to dry up, and now I want you to take it and rub it together. Tell me what you feel.
No friction.
Isn't that a lot easier? That's basically when you spray Silly Spray onto those moving parts, it's going to lubricate and make it better. Now I want you to check this out. I've got this pen here. There we go. Notice I'm able to write on it, which shows you that it's truly a dry lubricant. But again, even with the writing, go ahead and feel that.
Still the same.
This is going to be the perfect solution to those working mechanisms that you need to lubricate, because it's going to lubricate without pulling any of that dust and moisture in, and it's going to make your parts work better, which is going to greatly reduce the amount of equipment you're going to have to replace over the short period of time.
Sounds good.
How does that look to you?
Looks good.
Let me tell you how we package this product. We
Right.
normally package this product 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half case. What works better for you, a case or a half case?
Tell you what, Steve, give me a half case then.
You got it. Dennis, one of the things I've learned from working with guys like yourself is one of the issues that you deal with is you've got all kinds of joints, bearings, door hinges, and things that need constant lubrication. And not everything is lubricated like it should, so you've got metal rubbing against metal all the time. And the problem is you use a regular lubricant, and the lubricant gets on there, but because it stays wet all the time, as the dirt and dust and debris from the outside comes in, it gets on and sticks to that lubrication, causing it to work worse than if you hadn't applied anything to it to begin with. Of course, the problem is if you don't lubricate those moving parts, they're going to wear out a lot sooner than they need to. And if there's one thing that kills a budget, it's replacing equipment. Am I right?
Right, correct.
Absolutely. One of the great things that we've come up with a solution to that problem, and that's called dry moly lubricant. And I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to take a piece of paper, and I'm going to apply a small portion right there. And I'm just going to give that a little bit, a short second to dry. Already you can see that most of it has started to dry. We've just got a little bit around the edges. Now what I'm going to do is, you know, basically what happens with the joints and the moving parts that you've got is it's constantly rubbing together. Now notice that the more I rub, see how that shines?
Right.
The more those parts rub together, the more this product lubricates, and that shine shows you that that lubricant is working, and it just gets slicker and slicker and slicker. I want you to go ahead and feel how easy that is to rub that together now. Isn't that slick?
Slick's the word.
You bet, you bet. That shows you that it's working, so you can apply this to all of those metal-to-metal applications. Apply this, it goes on fast, it dries fast, and it keeps those moving parts lubricated, which extends the life of your products and, of course, saves you budget money down the line, and also saves you time because you're not having to worry about those parts wearing out.
Looks good.
How does that look to you?
Looks real good.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Let me tell you how we package that product.
okay, Steve.
We package it 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half case. What's going to work better for you, a case or a half case?
Tell you what, I got a lot of uses for this stuff. Go ahead and give me 2 cases of it.
Fantastic.
An issue that people have in their cleaning supplies is getting it done the first time. A lot of people will try to clean something and it looks good, but you're not doing the disinfecting. We've got a product that fits that solution perfectly called One Step. One Step is a cleaner and a disinfectant all rolled into one. It's real simple, and it's killing all of those big germs that you hear so much about. Just to give you an idea, Steve, virucidal against HIV, herpes simplex 1 and 2, parvovirus, influenza A, H1N1. It also kills MRSA and works against Legionella pneumophila. These are some of the bigger germs that some of the other cleaners, disinfectants out there aren't getting taken care of. And it's real simple. Take a little bit of One Step, give it a spray, let it foam up, and then you just take your paper towel and you wipe it away. Not only is this product cleaning, but this product is now disinfecting, in this case, the glass surface.
What's it smell like?
Well, you can take a smell.
Yeah, that's nice.
It has a nice, pleasant, clean odor to it. Cleans, disinfects, kills the big boy germs, and it's all done in one shot. Hence the fact that we call it One Step.
How long does it kill germs for?
Great question. It has a residual on hard surfaces of 21 days. On soft surfaces, such as chairs, bedding, linens, it has a 14-day residual germ kill.
Will it affect the fabric?
It will not affect the fabric at all. What we tell our clients is quite simply, every other week, just go in, spray, and you're killing and disinfecting the germs for 2 weeks at a time. And that way you do it twice a month, rather than trying to remember, is this surface a hard one? Okay, that's 3 weeks. Is this surface a soft one? That's 2 weeks. No. Just remember, every other week, twice a month, and you're done. The way we package up One Step is 4 dozen as a case, 2 dozen is a half case. What's better for you?
I'll take a case.
Great.
Keith, you have a lot of equipment here in your shop that you constantly have to maintain. And one of the big problems that you've got is nowadays they're making equipment that it's very hard to get a grease gun into to grease certain areas. And whenever that happens, you're running equipment that's not getting grease. You're wearing down your equipment a lot earlier than you need to. And of course, replacing equipment is the biggest thing that's going to kill your budget every year. At Chemco, we've come up with a great solution to that problem called grease in a can. And the great thing about this product, this starts out as a red grease spray. It actually starts out as a liquid. And so what it does is it seeks out its own level. So you can actually spray this and it'll get into all of the cracks, all the cracks and crevices, all the grooves, and in liquid form, it'll work its way down in there to get into the places that you need it to get into. But as you can see, in a short period of time, it sets up as a thick red grease spray. And so when you rub it together, it's going to lubricate all those working properties. Now we do it in a red color so that it's very easy to see, because a lot of times you're using a black grease and you put a grease in there that's black against something that's already a metal color or a black color. You're not going to be able to tell whether it works or not.
Right.
But since this is a red grease spray, it's going to be able to be seen, and you'll know that it's actually gotten where it needs to go and it's actually working like it's supposed to. And then by the way it stands up to the everyday duties, because you're running your equipment all the time, I want you to notice that this will work up to 575 degrees Fahrenheit, and it'll work up to as low as 40 below. So it'll withstand any temperature that you have to throw at it.
Okay.
It'll allow your equipment to run better, and it's going to save you time and budget money because your equipment's going to last a lot longer. How does that look to you?
Looks fine.
Let me tell you how we package it. We normally package this 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half a case. What would be better for you, a case or a half a case?
Is there any way I can get half a case?
Half of a half a case, okay? Well, I tell you what, I normally don't do something like that, but you know, I'd be willing to make an exception. That would be what we would call a quarter of a case,
Okay.
which would be a simple dozen. I can do that for you.
All right.
Let me get my order pad.
Sure.
An issue that everybody has are germs. People are familiar with the commercial-based products like a Lysol, and they have their place. But we have a solution that not only kills germs and kills the bigger germs, but kills them for a long time, which saves your money on having to go back over every day, every week, and having to kill those germs. That product is called Dis Deo. Dis for disinfectant, Deo for deodorizer. One of the things that sets Dis Deo apart right off the bat are the number of germs that it kills and how big those germs are. One of the things that sets Dis Deo apart is the big germs that it kills. Everybody says that they can kill 99.9% of germs, and we have it right here as well. That's because there are literally billions of germs out there. So killing 99.9%, that's easy. What sets us apart are the germs that we kill. Right off the bat, HIV. We are pseudomycidal, a germicidal, a fungicidal. We prevent mold and mildew. MRSA, Staphylococcus. We are killing these bigger germs that unfortunately some of the mass-produced products out there aren't able to do. Another thing that sets us apart is how long we kill. Dis Deo, when sprayed on a hard surface, is going to have a residual germ kill of 21 days. On soft fabrics, chairs, linens, drapery, it's going to kill germs for 14 days. Now, you will see, as we spray, it just gets right into the air, it kills everything, and in just a second, you're going to start to smell the nice hospital clean scent.
That is nice.
That is. It's going to last it's going to deodorize, it's going to disinfect, it's going to kill. Any questions on this deo?
Well, the stuff we're using right now, we've got to spray it, we've got to let it sit for 10 minutes, and then we have to wipe it up. Do I have to do that with this product?
You absolutely do not. That's the other benefit is I always like to use a door handle. We don't have one right here. When you spray it on a door handle, when you spray it on anything, you wait 5 or 10 minutes, it dries on its own, and you walk away. So when we say that you're saving on the labor, not only it's because you're not spraying it as often, every other week, every 3 weeks, but you're not having to spray it, wait, go back and wipe it down, you spray it and you walk away.
Right.
Yeah. The way we package it up is 4 dozen is a case, 2 dozen is a half case. Just to kind of give you an idea, the Champaign school buses, they bought a full case of this to put one on every one of their buses. All the bus drivers do is twice a month, every other week, they start at the back and they just walk down the aisle, spraying it. It's killing, it's disinfecting, it's deodorizing. It's kids on a school bus. You can only imagine the kind of smells they have, and they don't have any issues with those runny noses, with the germs spreading from kid to kid. What's a better application for you, a full case or a half a case?
Let's go with a case.
Great. Not only is Chemco known for having fantastic industrial and maintenance products, but we have some of the best cleaning and janitorial products on the market. One of the biggest issues that a lot of my schools and a lot of my custodians have is they've got one product to disinfect. They've got another product in their cabinet to clean. They've got another one for deodorizing and the smell. The solution that we've come up with is a product called Germakill. Germakill is a cleaner, disinfectant, and deodorizer all in one product. The beauty of this product is in the cost savings. Not only do you not have to buy 3 products, not only do your custodians have to go around 3 times to do those products, but because this is a concentrate, it dilutes an amazing 2 ounces per gallon of water. So a little goes a very long way. Now, one of the other nice things about our deodorizing factor of this is it comes in 5 different scents. You can get it in original, but it also comes in lemon, mint, pine, and sassafras. And everybody loves saying sassafras. Because of that, it's a replacement of something like a pine sol, if you wanted to, if you went with pine. But the other thing that this is a replacement of is bleach. I live in Champaign County. Several of my restaurants told me, Bart, before we can talk to you at all, you have to have Sarah Michaels approve this. Sarah Michaels is the Champaign County Public Health Department. I sent all of our information, I sent her a sample of Germakill, and I have an email from the Champaign County. It may or may not be applicable in your county, but in Champaign County, Illinois, this is an approved bleach alternative for any restaurant or any facility that has a kitchen. That's the power of Germakill.
Right now, what we're primarily using is bleach, and it wreaks havoc on all of the metal fixtures, bolts, and other things in the bathroom. Is that product going to be as corrosive as bleach?
This product is not corrosive at all, and one of the other benefits, one of the other downsides to bleach is how it affects not only the metal, but the sinuses, the eyes. This one is completely safe and harmless for the face, for the sinuses, and for metal and corrosiveness.
Well, my guys need to use gloves when they use this product.
No gloves, no masks, no nothing. Now, your guys might look better in masks, but they don't need it for the protection.
Okay.
This is a completely safe product. The way we package it up is a couple different ways. It does come in the quart bottles. I'm not a big fan of that because you end up buying more the plastic bottles themselves, but it also comes in gallon containers. And a 5-gallon container, it comes in a pony drum of 15 and 20 gallons, and it also comes in full-size drums of 35 and 55 gallons. What's better for you?
I'm going to go with a 5-gallon bucket. That's what we use.
Excellent.
Keith, one of the issues that you deal with is you're dealing with all kinds of different germs, bacteria, funguses, and other things that you have to deal with. And so it's very important that you maintain and sanitize your skin and your hands. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Now, the big problem, there's a lot of products out on the market, but the problem with most of them is, one, they dry out and crack your hands real bad. Problem number two, they all say basically the same thing. They say kills 99 point something % of all germs. Well, the problem with that is there's billions of germs out there, and what you're looking to fight is some of the big ones. What I want you to do is I want you to take a look at Anisha K and notice that we say the same thing, kills 99 point something % of all germs, but also we handle things like MRSA, VRE, E. coli, staph, strep, and other blood-borne pathogens. Now, the reason we're able to put that on the label is because we have to submit this product to the government. They actually take it and put it under a microscope and prove scientifically that it'll actually kill all of those things. The reason why those other products that you get from the store don't have that kill claim on there is because their product hasn't been proven to kill the big things that you deal with on a daily basis.
Okay.
Now, the other great thing about this product, here, let's put a little in your hand. You know, most stuff that you put in your hands, you use it a couple of times a day and it'll dry out or crack your hands. This has moisturants in it, which keeps that, which greatly reduces that from happening. And you just rub it in your hands, and you should notice already that it's starting to dissipate and go away. So you don't need a cloth or a towel. I know by now my hands are dry. How about yours?
Yeah, they're dry.
So it works great, it's convenient, it's easy to use, and it kills everything, including the big stuff that you're trying to take care of. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep your guys working so that they're not calling in sick and you're not running around short-staffed all the time. How does that look to you?
Looks fine.
We package this two ways. We package it in the small 4-ounce bottles, which easily go into a pocket or a toolbox or something like that, or we have the desktop units that are 8 ounces that just sit right on top of the desks. Which way is it going to work better for your guys?
Probably the small one.
The small one, you bet. Okay, these come packaged in cases of 24. How many cases do you think you're going to need?
Probably 2.
Okay, very good. Let me get my order pad and we'll get you taken care of.
Okie doke, that'll work.
One of the common problems that everybody has, regardless of what kind of a building you have, regardless of what kind of a business you run, are leaks and drips. Whether it's from the roof, whether it's in the foundation, whatever it might be. Could be on your vehicles themselves. We've come up with a solution called Seal It. Now maybe you saw last winter the 2-minute infomercial on a product called Flex Seal. We've got an industrial strength version of that. Seal It is a black, flexible, rubberized coating that can be used on roofs. It can be used on automotive. It can be used on lawnmowers and trees and foundations. What Seal It does is it seals up material. I'm going to take just a plain paper towel and I'm going to show you exactly what Seal It looks like. And I'm going to spray about half of it. Now ordinarily, Seal It takes about an hour or 2 to dry. It takes a day to fully cure. What I'm going to show you is the power of the waterproofing. And we'll come to that here in a second. Applications and where people use this. So you've got a roof and it's got shingles or flashing, or it's got gutters and downspouts and it leaks or it drips. What happens is you take Seal It, you spray it in there, you seal up that drip, you seal up that leak, and it's done. As I said, in a day it's fully cured, and then it's a paintable product. So then, let's just say a gutter. Most people have white gutters. If a little bit of Seal It gets up underneath, most of the time people are doing their gutters from the top. Sometimes you get it underneath. A day or 2 later, you take your white spray paint, and nobody ever knows that Seal It was there. Now, there are other applications as well. It also can be used as an undercoating for vehicles. Underneath the frame, so water and rust and corrosion doesn't occur. But you can also put it underneath the wheel well, underneath the fender, the bumper, the hood. You can even use it on the gas tank or on the oil pan. It prevents dripping and leaking so you don't have that stain on your garage door, on your garage floor. Foundations. You've got a crack in a foundation wall, or maybe it's in the floor. You seal it up, water and moisture doesn't get in there, that crack doesn't get even larger, and it's done. Trees. Let's say that you have a tree that has been injured. A vehicle hit a tree, takes a chunk of bark out of there. This is going to seal up that tree wound and help it heal on its own.
What about mower decks?
Mower decks is another excellent opportunity. One of my clients, Urbana Park District, they're a mechanic. I walk in, his mower decks are up, they were just finishing power washing them, and when it's done, they spray the underneath of the mower deck with Seal It, because it keeps the moisture and the dew that you get every morning during the summer when they're mowing, it keeps it from rusting and corroding out, not only the blade, but also the deck itself. Now, oh, go ahead.
Well, I've got a lot of vehicles that have exposed wiring. Will it work on the wiring as well?
It absolutely will. It will cover up that wire and keep it protected, keep it from getting water in there as well. Now, we sprayed this only about a minute or two ago. You can see how it's still wet. You can see the sheen, and yet you can dunk it right in here, and there is nothing left in the water. It stays on there, and in less than a minute or two, it forms that hard barrier. Hard isn't the right word. It forms a flexible, tough barrier that water beads right off of.
Now, how will that stand up to the extreme cold that we get out here in the Midwest?
Cold and heat, from 40 degrees below zero up to 170 degrees above zero. The way we package seal it up, the way we package seal it is 4 dozen as a case, 2 dozen as a half case. What's better for you?
I'll take a case.
Great.
When demonstrating Weed Be Gone, you're going to need to do a little bit of prep work before going in to see the customer. On your way into the building, make sure you look around for any weeds that are growing up, either between cracks in the sidewalk, driveway, or around the outside of the building. Take your Weed Be Gone can, open it up, and spray it to a portion of those weeds. Then go in and see your customer. Dennis, one of the things that I've learned in working in this industry for as long as I have, I know you guys are constantly battling taking care of weeds and other obnoxious plants.
Right.
And this winter, because we had such a mild winter, they seem to be growing up a lot quicker than normal.
Everywhere.
You bet. Now, at Chemco, we have any type of ground sterilant solution or weed control product that you need. But one of the new products that we carry that a lot of people really like is Weed Be Gone, because I noticed coming in, you've got a lot of little weeds growing up between the sidewalk cracks and in the driveway and around the outside of the building. And a lot of times you don't want to have to carry a 5-gallon bucket or put a backpack sprayer on a guy just to send him around to hit those spot areas.
Right.
But you also need something that's going to be effective, because one of the things that kills your time and your productivity is if you have to constantly send a guy out every couple of weeks or every couple of months to retreat the same area that you already treated before.
Right.
At Chemco, we've come up with a great solution called Weed Be Gone. Now, this is a ground sterilant in a can. Weed Be Gone is not only a vegetation killer, but it's also a soil sterilant as well. So I've taken the liberty of actually treating a couple of weeds outside. I want you to come with me. Let's go and take a look at those weeds.
All right.
What you then do is escort your customer out to the place where you've treated the weeds and have them take a look at it. Weed Be Gone is very effective. It'll work after about 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes time, you walk them out there, those weeds will be black and completely dead. Then you walk them back into their office and say, Dennis, what did you think of that?
It's pretty good stuff.
You know, I only treated that right before I came into your office. That's how fast it actually works. I know a lot of weed killers out there, it sometimes takes days to even weeks before you see results.
Right.
But what you can see with this product is it's fast acting. The other great thing about this product is because it's a soil sterilant, this will keep those weeds killed for at least a year. I use this on my own driveway and sidewalks, and I generally get about a year and a half.
Really?
So once you apply it, you don't have to worry about it. Now I want you to take a look at the needle nose applicator. Now some of the problems that guys have dealing with a product like this that's not only a vegetation killer but a soil sterilant is, well, what happens when my guy missprays? Because heaven forbid it gets on something else. This needle nose applicator and push button sprayer allows you to treat the can completely upside down. It'll empty completely out, so you're not wasting any of your money on product that still stays in the can. It allows you to get right down into the crack and treat just that area. You don't have to worry about any spray or blowback taking place. The other great thing about this product is it only has about a 2-inch leach. So you don't have, even if your guy sprays it and a rainstorm comes by shortly thereafter, you don't have to worry about it spreading everywhere and killing everything. So it's fast, easy to use, it improves your productivity, and it's going to save you money because you're not spending tons and tons of money buying gallons and gallons of product when you only need a little bit to get the job done.
Can anybody use that, Steve?
Absolutely. In fact, the great thing about this product is it doesn't require an applicator's license. So you can give it to your high school kids or your college kids that are coming on for summer help.
Good, good. Okay.
How does that look to you?
Looks great.
Well,
Looks really good.
Great. Let me tell you how we package it. We package this 4 dozen to a case, 2 dozen to a half case. What's going to be better for you, a case or a half case?
Got a lot of sidewalk here. Let's go ahead and give me a case.
Great. Let me get my pen and we'll get you started up. What's the shipping address here?
4900 Forest Park Boulevard.